What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In Apex Legends, finishing top 3 or getting that victory is oftentimes just as much about where you start as it is where you finish. So in this video, I'm going to go over what are, in my opinion, the top 5 places to drop in this game. Now, all 5 of these will give you chances at high tier loot, but it'll also allow you to have early game survivability so that you can hopefully make a vie for that champion win. So let's get started. We're going to look at 5 places. Now, all of these will depend on where people are dropping at. You might want to look around here and see where people are dropping first and then determine which place you want to go to. So let's take a look at the 5 best places to drop in Apex Legends. Coming in at number 5 on the list is the artillery battery, and it is in the northern section of the map. Now, this can be a pretty hot spot for activity, and you may have a few fire teams or a few squads landing at this location. If that's the case, you might want to divert your path and maybe head over to the relay, head to wetlands. You could also consider the pit if you're making your way to artillery. But if there's not many teams here, I think this is a great place to start because there's a ton of buildings that you can loot. Now, all of these give you a chance for high tier loot. Right now, I found a blue body shield so far. We also have a couple people here. We're going to try to take these guys out. And ideally, your other teammates will be here. Right now, I'm kind of by myself. That's alright. Alright, we took these guys out. So I think we got the fire team taken out. Like I said, if there is another group here, you may want to divert your course because this can be a pretty hot spot and you may end up wiping pretty quick. But on the flip side, though, this will give you some good practice early in the game to improve your skill and to improve your play. I think that's always going to help you out. But by and large, though, make sure you head over here if you can because it is a pretty sweet spot for loot. You can find a lot of purple gear here. There's so many buildings. You have buildings all around, and there's a bunch of crates and chests that you can loot here as well. Artillery battery is a great place to go early in the game because you're going to really get a lot of good gear that helps you out. Now in my case here, because of my artillery, the circle is really close, so that helps me out. I can make my way over to relay, I can stop by the wetlands, I can even go over to cascades or the pit as well and check these. They may not be looted as much. So if you're starting out, consider artillery battery. Maybe divert your course if there's going to be 5 or 6 teams going here. I've seen a bunch of teams going here before, so you may want to reconsider if it's going to be a bit too hectic. But in my case here, it kind of worked out. I have some good gear, I have some good weapons, and I also got a few guys taken out. So nice way to start out. Let's see what's number 4 on the list.
Very well.
Coming in at number 4 is the Airbase. Now this is on the left-hand side of the map, and while it is similar to the number 5 spot where this can be a beacon of activity, I've also gone here before and been the only squad to land. You're going to have chances at high tier loot, and while there's not quite as many buildings to check out, you're going to probably find some purples here pretty easily. You usually can find some inside these aircraft. Here I got a yellow item, not a big deal, but you can usually find some pretty good gear here, and I think this is a great spot to go. The other nice thing about this is because it is in the middle row of the map, you're going to be pretty close to the circle no matter where it is, unless it's on the opposite side over in the swamps. But I think the airbase is a great spot to go. You may end up running into some teams here, but I'll give you some practice in some early term engagements. But I think this is a wonderful spot. Now hopefully I can find some decent gear here and get kitted out here pretty well. Got some blue armor, that's nice. Got a couple of these shield batteries too, that's always going to be helpful later in the game. But I think if you're having trouble getting some decent gear to start out, definitely consider the airbase. I think it's a wonderful place to go. I've had some pretty good success here getting decent items, and right now I think I have some pretty awesome armor. I got a nice amount of the recovery items here. I got the Phoenix kit, I got the shield battery and a couple of the shield cells. They're going to help out. The syringes. Having these early on is going to help you out quite a bit. Best case scenario is here I find a purple backpack would be sweet, or a purple set of armor. But overall though, if you can start out a game with a nice set of blue armor and some good items to recover later on, you're going to give yourself a pretty solid chance. Now the weapons I got, not exactly the favorite ones I would use here, but still having a couple weapons early in the game, that's going to give me a chance. If people did land here, I'd have a fighting shot at least to take them down. But I recommend the airbase as a spot to go. It is the number 4 spot on the list. Let's see what is number 3. Coming in at number 3 is a location on the map called the Pit. Now there may not be that much loot here, but it is high tier loot, and beyond that as well, you don't have many people going here normally. So while you might not be able to get a full kit of gear, you're going to probably get something decent, and you're not going to have many people to contend with. So you want to make your way over to the pit and drop down in here. I'm going to try to get some stuff pretty quick. My teammates are here as well. We're going to grab a couple pieces of gear. There isn't a whole lot to loot from, especially when you're dealing with your own smoke grenades. But by and large, though, you should be able to find at least one piece of purple gear. I was able to get some blue armor too, which is nice. So started out pretty quick. Got the skull piece for rifling, so that's going to help out if I'm using those types of weapons. I got a shield battery. I have some ammo, and I have a blue chest armor. So not a amazing start, but definitely not a bad one either. And I think the nice thing about the pit too is it has some pretty close proximities to other high tier locations. You have the airbase just south of you. You have the bunker as well. You can also make your way over to the artillery battery too if you want to stop by there. So all of these are relatively close to you, and I also have a drop ship in this particular instance. The nice thing about this one too is the circle is actually right where I'm at, so I can always canvas these areas too and have a pretty good leg up on the competition. So the pit is definitely an underrated area to go to, I think, and one that you may want to explore and see what they have to offer. I think this is a solid spot. It's a low risk, lower reward, but still gives you a decent opportunity or decent chance of finding some pretty solid gear, as I was able to right now. Also too, nice to see we have a loot drone here as well. Now unfortunately my teammates left, but I can always ping this, maybe they can come back. We have a Phoenix kit that's going to help out late game as well. So definitely check out the pit if you guys have not been here before. That's number 3. Let's see what number 2 is. The number 2 spot to land, in my opinion, the runner-up spot, is the swamps. Now the swamplands is over on the far right hand side of the map in this middle column. So it's just like the airbase, where as long as the circle's not off here in the top left near some lakes, you should be pretty close and have enough time to canvas this area. Now it is a pretty big area. There's a lot of buildings here, and they are kind of spread pretty far apart. So you're going to want to make sure that you spend a good bit of time going through all these. Now you should find a nice bit of stuff here. I was able to find a couple weapons. I have the Wingman, I have the G7 Scout. I was able to find a number of decent attachments here. So you can see here I got the Skull Piercer for the Wingman. That makes this quite a bit better. I have a couple attachments for the G7 Scout. Now I haven't found yet any blue or purple armor, but like I said, there's a lot of buildings you can go to in here. So the nice part about this is normally teams don't go here either. Every now and again you should find you might find a number of teams here if it's like a hot spot, but for the most part you're going to have this pretty much to yourself, and you'll be able to go through each and every one of these buildings and take your time finding some good options here. The other nice thing about this too is the fact that either way, no matter where you're at, you're going to be able to either go to your north and the relay and the wetlands, 2 good spots. You can also go down to the Hydro Dam or the repulsor area. Both of these are good locations to go to, and all of these are going to have great buildings to look for, great loot, and you're going to probably have a nice assortment of weapons to choose from, and ideally get some higher tier armor as well. But I love the swamps. It's a great area. Not much in the way of contesting going on here, and in this particular game I'm pretty close to where the circle is, so that will give me even more time to go through here and loot all these buildings. But this was the runner-up. This was number 2. What is number 1? I think we're pretty close to it. Let's find out what the number 1 spot to land in Apex Legends is, in my opinion. So what is the number 1 place to drop in Apex Legends? Well, in my opinion, it's the Interstellar Relay. Now you're going to find that in the top right portion of the map. And what makes this location so great, this does offer you chances at high tier loot, but it also connects directly to wetlands and also to the swamps. So both of these, all 3 of these locations, do give you high tier loot. And even though you might be pretty far from a circle, you're going to have enough time to get there no matter where it is. I like this place a lot. It doesn't get that much activity, which is surprising given how many great things you can find here. But I also like it too because you're going to be away from a lot of the action. And that, I think, is so important early in the game to make sure that you are gearing up, you're getting a nice loadout, but you're also avoiding a lot of early firefights, because it's very easy to lose some of those early engagements if you don't have good weapons, good armor, etc. But if you're having trouble, I think this is going to be a great place to go. make sure you get here pretty early. Don't be like me and end up in the storm. But if you go to Interstellar Relay pretty early, you can make your way to wetlands, make your way to swamps. You can also make your way over to the artillery base. All four of these locations are going to give you high tier loot. So in my opinion, this is the best place to go, Interstellar Relay. Hopefully this video was helpful, guys. Let me know in the comments below if it was. Most importantly though, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you up soon.